at the surface of the lie, and I can feel it, hungry and impatient. The self I buried screaming to the sky. I am not the image, I'm the one behind it. Tired of hiding, time to finally find break it. The mirror, break the mirror. Let the thousand pieces fall to ground. Break the mirror, break the mirror. Underneath the shards, that's where I'm found. Break the mirror.
You never needed the mirror, it just needed permission.
The brain you have tonight is not the brain you have to keep.
It's 2 in the morning and the thoughts are on a loop. Fear replaying in the same old groove. I've worn a path inside my mind like a groove in a stone. The pattern is so heavy I can't carry it alone. But I read that neurons fire and neurons wire together, that every thought repeated is a chain or a tether. And tonight I'm choosing different even if it's hard. I'm rewiring in the darkness, every thought is shot. The old circuits are not permanent. Tonight I choose a new experiment. Rewire tonight, I'm changing the current. Every broken thought, I'm making it different. The mind I was given is not all I'll be. Rewire tonight, and finally free. Not yet, but I will. I replace the flinch with something steadier and still. It sounds too small, one thought to make a difference, but the ocean was once just a single droplet in finally free. Rewire the night. I am not my history. I am not my automatic. I choose the thought that serves me, even when the night is static. Rewire the night, I'm rebuilding slowly. Every loop I catch, I make it holy. Choose the kind, the true, the possible. Rewire the night, I'm unstoppable. Rewire the night to light. I am new.
You have been defending something that doesn't need to be protected.
I spent a decade building walls around a feeling I was told a long time ago was wrong. I honored every softness with a sharper presentation, and called the performance strength, and called the fear a song. The ego is a sculptor, ruthless and efficient. It carves a shape that it can justify and sell. But underneath the statue, cold and self-sufficient, was just a person who had something left to tell. The one I was protecting never needed protecting. The one I built to fight was fighting the wrong thing. Ego, goodbye. I am done performing, done pretending that the armor keeps me warm, and done explaining every version of my worth. Ego, goodbye. I'm returning to the earth. Ego, fills itself from a completely different cup. No more selling, no more performing, no more ceiling. Just the person underneath. Now that's the real thing.
Arrive and run the whole place. Like guess who became tenants, then the owners of the space. I never asked them for their purpose or their lease agreement. I just let the loudest ones become the main event. But now I sit before the noise and ask it what it wants. I don't evict the hard ones, I just change the fun. I read them differently with distance and with care. The thought is just the thought, it doesn't have to live in there. You built the house inside your head. Choose the blueprints, choose instead. Thought architect, I design the inside. Every wall I build from truth, not from the outside. No more letting random noise become the structure. Thought architect, I am my own constructor. Thought architect. Thought says danger when there is no danger. The self-critical one says failure at the smallest error. But I am learning to be fluent in the language of the fear behind the thought and find the stranger behind the noise. A need, a wound, a wish for safety. And when I see it clearly, I can meet it gently. Not with force, but with the steady hand of knowing. The architect must love the house to keep it growing. Every thought I let stay shapes the room. choose the ones that let in light, not gloom. Dark architect, I design the inside. Every wall I built from truth, not from the outside. No more letting random noise become the structure. Dark architect, I am my own constructor. Dark architect. What if the most powerful thing I ever built was not a career or a reputation or a skill, but the interior world I chose to make? Thought by thought away. Thought architect, I claim this inner space. Every belief I choose builds a different place. No more default thinking, running the design. Thought architect, this mind and life I'm mine. Thought architect. You are always building something inside. Build it on purpose. You are not the storm. You are the sky the storm moves through. Yesterday was heavy, a low pressure system moving through my chest before the morning light. I used to call that heaviness my permanent condition, convinced the storm inside me was a permanent night. But I've been watching how the weather always passes, how no front stays forever on the map. And when I stopped becoming every single season, I found the sky that held them steady vast. You are not the rain, you are the sky. Emotions pass, they move, they don't define. Inner weather changing every morning. Some days storms and some days golden and forming. I don't have to be the cloud to feel the rain. Inner weather, I'm the sky, not the pain. Inner weather. The anger came like thunder, fast and unannounced. I used to let it flood me until nothing else was left. But now I watch it arrive like I watch a summer downpour. Acknowledge it, feel it, and then let it leave with grace. And then the sadness, slow like fog across the valley. I sit inside it, not to wallow but to see what it is trying to tell me in its gray and heavy language, before it lifts and leaves the sky to me. Feel the feeling, let it speak its name. Then watch it move, you're never quite the same. Inner weather, changing every morning. Some days grief and some days something forming. Beautiful and new beneath the clearing rain. Inner weather, I'm the sky, not the pain. Inner weather. Let it rain, let it thunder.
Things open, nothing finished, end of the day. I moved through everything and touched it, but I didn't stay. The emails answered half, the document half written, the meeting notes still blank, the mind half riven between the urgent and the shallow and the constant, and none of it was deep enough to count. I looked productive to the world outside observing, but nothing was produced that really mounts. One thread pulled completely changes everything. Scatter nothing, go deep, let the single thing sing. Single thread, follow it all the way. One thing only for the whole of today. Not the dozen halves, just one thing whole. Single thread, this is depth, this is soul. Single thread. Thread. Single thread. The master didn't learn a craft by multitasking. She picked one motion and she ran it into muscle. The athlete doesn't train by sampling every sport. He picks one body, one obsession, one result. And I have been the person spread across the surface, thin and fast and ultimately costing everything. So today I close the rest and pull the single thread out and follow it until I feel the depth begin. Width is noise, but depth is where you live. Give it everything. One thread, give. Single thread, follow it all the way. One thing only for the whole of today. Not the dozen halves, just one thing whole. Single thread, this is depth, this is soul. Single thread. Thread. Single thread. Drop the rest. Pull the one. Go until the work is done. Single thread. Single thread, I'm going all the way. One direction, not a single stray. Every molecule of focus here. Single thread, the path is finally clear. Single thread, complete. Single thread. Before the great work, there is always silence. Do not skip it. I used to crash into the morning like a freight train. Notifications first before my eyes adjusted to the room. Before my nervous system found its rhythm for the day, I'd already handed it to someone else's Zoom. But now I sit a moment in the silence of the early, before the world remembers I exist and calls my name. I hold the quiet like a cup of something warm and holy, and in that cup I find myself exactly still the same. The silence before is where the focus lives.
Give yourself the quiet. That's the gift. Silence before I protect the morning. Set the frequency before the world comes forming. Every great thing started in a quiet space. Silence before I prepare the place. Silence before the surgeon breathes before she makes the incision. The sprinter crouches quiet at the starting line. The writer sits and stares at the white page without panic, because the silence is the act, not the crime. And I am learning that the pause is not procrastinating. The stillness before starting is the start. You cannot pour from an uncentered, scattered vessel. The silence fills the cup before the art. Don't rush the quiet. The quiet makes the way. Silence before. This is how I face the day. Silence before I protect the morning. Center in the stillness before the forming. Every great thing started in a quiet room. Silence before I step into the bloom. Silence before I open anything. Before I speak or scroll or think, I sit in the silence and I drink. Silence before I am preparing, grounding in the stillness, fully bearing the weight of what I'm building in this day. Silence before it clears the way. Silence before begin. The morning is not an inbox. It is an altar. Treat it that way. Before it was started, I wanted the harvest before the first seed. I've been surrounded by instant and painless, and forgot that the deep things take time to be freed. The musician practiced the scale for a decade before the stage lights ever found a face. And every year of unseen work was the performance before the crowd arrived to fill the space. It's not slow, it's compounding. Every day of work is something loud and downstairs. The long game, I'm in it for the distance, not the shortcut, not the overnight existence. Every day I show up, brick by brick. The long game, I don't need it quick. The long game. scientist who spent 11 years on a single question no one asked or heard. She published that year 12. It changed the field completely and the world just called it overnight absurd. The writer in the attic and the coder in the basement, the teacher who has taught the same thing 30 years. They are playing something longer and more honest than the noise that disappears in 15 years. Trust the compound, trust the unseen work. The long game pays the ones who don't deserve. The long game, I'm in it for the distance. Every missed shortcut, just a form of persistence. Day by day and choice by steady choice. The long game, building an enduring voice. The long game. Not this week, not this month, not even this year, but I will be somewhere extraordinary if I stay and stay right here. The long game, I commit to the becoming, not the highlight, not the sudden something. I am building what will last beyond the trend. The long game, this is not the end. The long game begins now.
What if the most productive thing you did today was nothing? Intentional nothing. I went 30 days without the feed just to see what would happen. What would fill the space that the scrolling had been occupying. And the first week was uncomfortable and restless and itching, because silence feels like failure when you've been sold on the spinning. But the second week a different kind of hunger arrived, not for content but for thought, for the actual lived. And the things that I had pushed beneath the noise started rising, and I heard myself again, and it was surprising. Remove the input, find the signal, subtract the noise to find what's pivotal. No noise, November, I hear myself think. Everything I bury comes back to the brink. The clarity I lost was always underneath. No noise, November, I begin to breathe. No noise. The ideas that I've been waiting years to think about started forming in the quiet like they'd always been there, waiting for the moment I would stop and make the space for something deeper than a trending thing or a share. And what I found was not an empty frightening silence, but a richness and a thickness like a forest floor. The noise had been the distraction from the actual living, and without it I discovered I had more. Less input, more creation, that's the equation. Quiet is the birthplace of imagination. No Turn it off, close the tab, sit in it, feel what you have underneath the noise. You know noise, November, and it never ends. Once you hear the silence, it becomes a friend. The feed is not the food, the quiet is the meal. No noise, November, finally real. No noise, just me. But you hear in the silence is the only thing worth chasing.
Some things cannot be fixed. They can only be carried and eventually transformed. Spent a fortune trying to undo a thing that happened in a year that I can't go back inside. I've replayed every choice and every word and every moment, looking for the lever that would turn the tide. But time doesn't come with a refund or a rewrite, and the energy I spent has only tired my soul. The wound is what it is, and that is not a failure. It's just the starting place for something whole. Hey, some doors are closed for reasons you can't see. What's behind you, let it finally be. The unfixable things, I lay them down. No more carrying what's already underground. I am not the fix, I am the one who lives on. The unfixable things don't make me gone. The unfixable things. There is a grief that feels like failure, I know it well. The kind that says if you were stronger you'd have solved it. But strength is not the absence of the unsolvable. It's staying in the room when everything around it has already burned, and you're still standing in the ash and choosing to still find the meal in the moment. Not because the ash is good, but because you are, and you deserve to be fed even when things are broken. Release the project of the unfixable. What cannot be changed can still be livable. The unfixable things, I lay them down. No more fighting battles underground. I am not defined by what I couldn't save. The unfixable things don't dig my grave. The unfixable things. I accept what was, I receive what is, and I trust what will be. Because I am still here. I am still here. The unfixable things, I carry them lightly. They are part of me, but they don't define me entirely. I am bigger than the loss and what it cost me. The unfixable things have not exhausted me. The unfixable things are mine to hold, not fix. Some things cannot be fixed.
they can only be carried.
Not fixed.